Of course.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yes. The small wonder of Mumbai.
Yes.
Sumit, which club are you a part of?
You're on mute, Sunil.
Of course.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm part of Serenity Toastmasters Club, which
Yeah,
is affiliated with Schneider Electric.
yeah.
Yes.
I know Serenity.
And today I'm here. I'm excited for the topic. Very interesting topic. So I saw that and decided to join. Yes.
Hey, Serenity, I'm forgetting the name, but somebody from your club used to come to our meetings all the time. The president of your club.
Maybe Sudhir Kamath.
Yes. I feel like a terrible
He
person for
was
forgetting, but
Sudhir Kamath. He was the president.
he's a good friend of our club.
Yeah.
तुम्हें join. अच्छा ये क्या है ये सब बाद में देखते हैं. All right, Sandhya is also here. I think I saw Krishna join, so धीरे धीरे the quorum is getting made. Hey Krishna. So
Hi, Krishna.
the meeting is being live streamed. So if you want to share it with anyone, please go ahead and do that. Not a problem.
Hi, Sandhya.
Hello, hi everyone.
All right. 6:58, Saurabh. Yavana is also here. Perfect. This is just the kickoff, right? Well, Sumit, I'm going to mute you if you don't mind. Just want to keep it as safe as possible for noise. Kashif, I'm going to mute you as well. No, you already muted. Chalega, theek hai. Hey Shubhayan, hey Yamana.
Hi. Give me a few minutes so that I'll set myself up.
Which time do we have?
$30 seconds.
Arey, I was about to say that. Arey, you're also keeping track of it. Very good, very good. Abhi मैं बोलने वाला था 30 seconds.
I'm keeping track because my tables in the ground floor are going to be occupied soon. That's why.
पहले तो तुम लोग देख लो नियमित आई है तो इज्जत से हाय बोल दो.
Hi, Niyamat.
नमस्ते.
Just imagine 7 बजे के पहले घर पहुंच गई मैं. Just imagine.
वही. I'm as shocked as you are. Okay, spotlight on Saurabh. Saurabh, ready to go.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 159th meeting of our club, BKC Fireflies. When we talk about BKC Fireflies, we say it's a small wonder club where you have ample of roles, speaking slots, role playing. So get on to it. Make sure you grab all the primary roles, other roles, and make sure you have the speaking slots filled with all your wonderful speeches. Now, before we go ahead, I want to read the club mission for all of you. So the club mission for our club is the mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Now, moving ahead, before I hand over the spotlight to our PO, there are certain do's and don'ts I would like everyone to follow diligently. Number one, please be muted if you're not speaking. Try to have your cameras on so that we can see all the wonderful faces. And keep your camera and unmute yourself whenever you're speaking in a speech slot or even as a primary role player. The meeting will be recorded, and anything, if anyone has any reservation, please do let us know. And finally, to all the people who are speaking and speakers, Please refrain from speaking about sex, politics, and religion. Now let's get ahead with some amazing activities or rather speeches in the meeting. And hence, from here, I hand over to RPO Kashif.
Good evening, everyone. As the presiding officer, I welcome you all to today's meeting. Let me start by sharing a small story with you all. So I recently ran the half marathon in Mumbai. And one thing which I observed, thank you. One thing which I observed is that the sense of service among people in Mumbai is very, very strong. And it is just heartwarming to see people line up the streets at 5 a.m. in the morning with water bottles, oranges, chocolates, and whatnot for the runners. I was really amazed at the sense of service, and I've observed it over the last 13 years that I've been running the marathon. Earlier, I used to think that service is only like feeding the poor or things of that nature. And this is not really service because these runners must be well off. But recently, my take on that has changed. And I think that all service is God's service. And um, and we are so concerned, right? We are so concerned that we give only to the deserving people, only to the chosen ones. And then when we feel that we have given to the right people, then we feel happy, then we feel satisfied. But we should give to everybody that comes asking. We should give to everyone without any discrimination. Because when we do that, give not not to feel happy, but to help others. And that is something which I have seen in the Toastmasters over the last few years that I've been part of the Toastmasters. The sense of service in Toastmasters is very, very strong. In fact, it is one of the one of the highest levels of service and camaraderie which I've seen in any organization that I've been a part of. So, especially for the guests, I would like to tell them that if you are thinking about joining and you are on the fence, then jump right in. Don't think twice about it. So that was just something which I wanted to share. And do we have any guests in today's meeting? We'll just maybe have a small introduction or interaction with the guests before we begin.
I've spotlighted Sumit for you.
Hi, Sumit.
Hello everyone, my name is Sumit Petnekar and I'm the member of Serenity Toastmasters Club. Recently, I have joined Toastmaster. It's been 8 months, and I serve as the VPPI buddy in last term, and in this term, I'm the VPPI of my club. My club is affiliated to the Schneider Electric Corporation, and I have obtained the pathway of presentation mastery and completed 3 level of it. This is about, and today I'm excited for the meeting. At first time I'm attending BKC Fireflies, and I'm excited. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Sumit. You have already completed 3 levels, so you are on your way.
Yes.
Welcome once again. Any other guests?
I've asked Aditya and Medha to start their videos. Aditya's video's on. Hang on, let me spotlight him.
Good evening. My name is Aditya. I'm in Pune. So I'm known about Toastmasters through my sister, Anushree Dhareshwar. So she requested me that just check and how the entire Toastmasters works and all. So since I'm based in Pune, he just said today's a meeting. Just go ahead and attend and see how everything works. So that's how I wanted to attend and see how it works before I join Toastmasters on a new level altogether.
Welcome, Aditya.
Thank you.
You heard me. I think you should join, not necessarily our club, but but yes, Toastmasters in general, whichever club you prefer.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So that's why I'm like, I've heard a lot. That's why so I'm eager to join. Let's see, probably Mumbai or somewhere in Pune itself.
Sure, sure.
So we have two. Some noise. We have Medha. So let me stop Medha.
Hi, Medha.
Yeah, but I'm not able to start my
You.
video.
Okay, we are not able to hear Medha. Maybe we will interact with her towards the end. Okay, and before I hand it over, I would also like to acknowledge that we have our area director present, Karthik Srinivasan, in the meeting today. So I welcome Karthik as well. And Karthik, if you'd like to say something, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the welcome. But being a Toastmaster, we don't really require a formal welcome. So when the doors are open, I see the link available on the site and I walk in. That's it. Anyways, just for people who don't know me, yes, I am an area director without getting paid, anyways, right? Working free of cost for the organization. And of course, from the Toastmaster standpoint, I've got 4 years. I'm a Toastmaster from August 2020 and currently a member of All Elite Advanced Toastmasters Club. And all the best, team.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I think we have covered all the business as usual. Sai, anything else?
I think we're good to go.
All right. So with that, I will now hand it over to our dynamic Toastmaster of the day, a guy who is the founding member of the club, and who's been going at it for a while. He wears multiple hats, including a stand-up comedian. So over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Sai Ramchandran.
I just want to point out that Kashif is underselling himself because he is also a charter member of this club. He took a break and now he's back with a bang, and he's doing a wonderful job as a committed and amazing Firefly himself. We have one more charter member of BKC Fireflies in the meeting who you will hear from a little later. But we're not here to talk about people. We're here to talk about systems and algorithms. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's theme is algorithms. And before we do any more discussion on algorithms, I just want to remind people who have roles in the meeting to please put your role name in front of your name. For example, I've put TMOD in front of my name because I'm the Toastmaster of the day. If you have a role to play, please put your role name in front so that it's easier for us to identify what role you're playing and then quickly highlight you when necessary. And I liked that Shubayan is calling himself with an exclamation point. That's a nice touch, Shubayan.
That is the actual way in which it is phrased.
We learn something every day. So that's my learning for today, that is not just it's with an exclamation point. So algorithms are what mediate our life today. But before we get into that, I have a quick question. How many of us remember our times tables? So I'm just going to, since this is an interactive meeting, we just want to have fun. I'm going to start calling people and start asking them questions. So Krishna, you look super comfortable sitting in that chair of yours. What is 9 times 9?
81.
All right. Let's ask Sumit, because he's joining us from Serenity. What is 0 multiplied by any number?
0.
Perfect. So what we are discussing now, the formula for multiplication, you all remember your times tables, right? But if I were to ask you something that you didn't know, for example, what is the product of 5,000 times 10? Nobody remembers the 5,000 times table. Nobody knows the 5,000 times table, correct? But we all have some formula in our head. We have some systems which say any number multiplied by 10 is just that number with a 0 appended to the right to make it a significant number. So that's a formula we have learned as children. And in effect, that is actually an algorithm. An algorithm is a series of steps that you take to achieve an end. Just like in quadratic equations, where your equations is a square plus b square minus 2ac, ab equals 0. That's a quadratic equation. To solve a quadratic equation, there's that formula, which is, I forget what it is, but it's, I think b plus minus under root a square minus 4ac divided by 2a, something. There's some formula for that. So that also is an algorithm, because once you know what the problem is, if you want to find the quadratic roots of an equation, you just need to plug in those numbers into that formula for quadratic equations and come up with an answer, and that becomes the answer for that quadratic equation. So this thing that we're discussing, how you have to take a series of steps with a finite bound to reach an end goal, which is the answer to a quadratic equation, or to find out what the multiplication product of any number with 10 is an algorithm. Let's take another example. I'm sure everyone knows this from their schooling. How do you tell if a number is divisible by 3 or not? Shyam, I'm going to ask you, because you look like you know your maths.
I absolutely don't know my maths, but a number is divisible by 3 if, I know for 9 it has to be a multiple of 3. No, or it's the other way around. Something like that.
A multiple of, no, there's a certain formula for that to figure out whether any number, I can give some huge number which you don't know whether it's a multiple of 3 or not, but just looking at it and doing a little bit of calculation, you can tell whether it's divisible by 3 or not. Do you know what that formula is? Oh, I think Yavana is like ready to answer the question. Sir, my turn, sir. So Yavana, go ahead. Tell us what it is.
If the addition of the digits land up at 3, then it's yes.
Yes, that is exactly right. And same with 11. If you add the number,
3, 6, or 9. It's 3, 6, or 9.
Anyway,
yes,
6,
3, 6, 9. Correct.
Also, and for 9, it's only 9. Yes, I am also the excited kid.
Oh my goodness, this place is full of really smart people. I'm getting intimidated now. Now, there's a similar formula for 11. So every alternate number should add up to 11, or should add up to the same number. So for example, I guess 660, 6 plus 0 and 6, they both add up to the same. So 660 is divisible by 11. So all these things that we talk about, all these formulae that we have in our heads is algorithms. Okay, let's start with that. Let's start with the basics, that algorithms is just a series of steps that you take to achieve an end. And that is something, if you keep in your head, we can further the discussion and start discussing whether algorithms are what mediate our life today, how they impact our life, what is it that algorithms do for us, and what is it that algorithms expect from us. All those things we can discuss once you understand that algorithms are just nothing but a series of steps, which can either be mathematical algorithms. You can have a heuristic, like let's take an example of Hindi. So there is a formula for understanding how what a word means. Many words have a prefix and a suffix. So you break up the word into a prefix and suffix and say, if the prefix is positive, as in su, so that means the entire word is a positive word. And if it ends, starts with a du, it's a negative sounding word. For example, sukha and dukha, those are positive and negative. That's a formula you're using. So you just break up and look at the prefix. Based on that, you can make up your mind about the nature of the word. So that is exactly what algorithms is. Now, more of this can start coming in. There can be more inputs into the algorithm. There can be more variables. There can be more weights added to the algorithm just to tweak the outcome in a certain way. But we'll discuss that over the course of this meeting. What I want to do right now is to explain the flow of the meeting for the people who are not familiar with Toastmasters, who are like, for example, our friend from Pune, who was not familiar with Toastmasters, who's here because his sister insisted that he attend a Toastmasters meeting. A Toastmasters meeting is broken up into 3 parts. Again, there's a formula here. There are 3 parts to a Toastmasters meeting. It starts with the introduction and a little bit of speech making. Then in the middle is table topics, where guests as in people who have never been Toastmasters, who are not Toastmasters currently, can participate in table topics. And finally, we have evaluations, which is where seasoned Toastmasters give feedback on how you spoke, and the things you did well and the things you need to improve on, so that the next time you come back to a Toastmasters meeting, you'll be that 1% better. And let me ask you the formula for compound interest based on that 1%. If you improve something by 1% over the course of 1 year, starting on a base of 100, where will you be at the end of 1 year? That is the question I want to leave you with, because that is the formula for compound interest. And while you're thinking about how compounding works when it comes to improvement, I am going to call up our role players to help us understand how they're going to execute the meeting. I'm going to start with our timer. who happens to be a person who, I don't see Tahir anymore. Tahir, are you not in the meeting anymore? Wait, let me look at the,
He's there.
oh, my mistake. All right, Tahir, the question for you is, how do you improve, no, how do you plan to execute your role as a timer?
By tracking the time of every speaker.
Will you be changing your background to show the time, or what do you plan to do? So can you give us a demo?
I will change my background for the table topics. So the time allocated for them will be 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes. So at the 1 minute, I will raise a green card. At the 1 minute 30 second, I will raise a yellow card, and at the 2 minutes, I will raise a red card. And for the individual speaker, the time allotted will be 5 to 7 minutes. At the 5 minutes, I will raise a green card. At the 6 minutes, I will raise a yellow, and at the 7 minutes, I will raise a red card.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Tahir. By raising a card, he basically means that his background will change from the default background to either green, yellow, or red based on the timing of the speech that will be announced when the speech is being discussed. Next, I'm going to call up our counter, Toastmaster Rahul. Let me find him.
It's grammarian.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. I meant to say grammarian. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Thank you, Toastmaster Sai, and good evening, all fellow Toastmasters and guests. And as a grammarian, my role will be to observe all the language or grammar related positives and negative side of it. When I say positive, I will be just giving you a word of the day. So correct usage of that word of the day. Second thing on grammatical new things or some new words, new phrases. On the or improvement side, it will be about the negative or wrong usage of the grammar or incomplete sentences or some pronunciation related obvious errors. For example, most of the people say carrier instead of career. So all that I'll be noting out. And once called upon by a Toastmaster of the day, I will also submit my report more from the perspective of improvement. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Sai.
I don't know if you'd shared the word of the day, Rahul, but if you could put it in the chat along with an example sentence. Well, there you go. I think the word of the day today is pragmatic. So let's be pragmatic and keep the meeting running along. Let us call our counter Subhayan. With an exclamation. Let's not forget that exclamation point.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. Good evening, everyone. Have you ever noticed how some speakers have a very smooth and effortless flow, while others, kind of struggle with pauses? Well, that's where I come in. As your pragmatic counter, my role is to help us all become more aware of those pesky filler words. Like, like basically that you can sneak into your speeches instead when you need a moment to think. These little crutches can dilute the message of whatever you're saying, be it good or bad. I'd like to give a small tip. Instead of using a default filler word, try to embrace the pause. You will not believe how much a brief silence can do wonders, because it makes your speech sound more confident and composed. Remember that pauses are powerful and they make your message even clearer. At the end of the meeting, I will be called upon by the general evaluator to present my report of the same. Now back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sai.
Yes. I'm going to take a strategic pause now so that Shubhayan gets something to note for me. Another strategic pause. But jokes aside, let's be pragmatic and get on with the meeting. We have a speaker who is also the actual president of the club. She was not able to join on time, so which is why we asked Kashif to be the presiding officer today. But she is a software consultant who's hard at work, making sure systems work and everything is up and running for her clients. He happens to be our president. Where do I find Nidhi? There she is. Nidhi is going to be our first speaker for the day. But before we get Nidhi to speak, let us ask her evaluator, Krishna, to explain how he plans to evaluate Nidhi's speech.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's week is going good. My target speaker, Nidhi, is attempting her level 4 from the pathway Visionary Communication. The aim of her speech today, you're going to hear her for 5 to 7 minutes to practice skills needed to effectively communicate change to a group or organization. The purpose of this speech is for the member to practice speaking about change. I wish my target speaker all the best.
Thank you so much, Krishna. Before Nidhi, you start, let me make sure you can see the timing signals. Are you able to see Tahir's screen? Tahir, can you please change your screen from default to green, red, and yellow, or yellow and red? You should be seeing along the top.
I can see red, green.
Right. I think we're satisfied that Nidhi is able to see the timing signals. Speaker number 1, Nidhi Jajda, the power of change. The power of change. Speaker number 1, Nidhi Jajda.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and all my dear friends. Today, I'm going to talk about the change. Change is tough. It requires bravery, strength, and sometimes personal sacrifice. But when one person decides to stand up, they can shift the course of history. Today, I want to talk to you about a person who endured the unimaginable hardship, fought for the justice, and ultimately transformed his country with the power of forgiveness. Let me give you a moment of seconds to guess. Any guesses? All right, I'm going to tell you. This is none other than Nelson Mandela. I'll give you several topics on how the change has been implemented in his life and how he has approached to it. The first was the fight against injustice. As we all knew, Mandela grew up in South Africa, a country where the law was based on a racial segregation. The Black South Africans were treated less than and denied basic rights and forced to live in oppression. But Mandela wasn't willing to accept this. He became a fierce advocate for equality and justice. However, his activism came with a very heavy price. In 1962, Mandela was arrested and sentenced to a life in a prison for standing up for what he believed in. For 27 years, he was locked away, cut off from his loved ones and his country. The 27 years in the prison, but not broken, was the second commitment which we learned from them. Prison would have broke most of the people, but not Mandela. Instead of letting that anger and bitterness consume him, he used this time to reflect, to learn, and to prepare for what lay ahead. Then in 1980, the unimaginable happened. Mandela was released. The world he would seek revenge. But instead, he chose something for stronger forgiveness. Moving forward, he taught what is about leading with unity and forgiveness. Rather than focusing on anger, Mandela called for a peace and unity. He understood that South Africa could only get healed and move forward if everyone came together. In 1994, he made a history by becoming the country's first Black president. But his leadership wasn't just about changing a political system. It was more about healing a broken action. He proved that forgiveness isn't a sign of weakness. It's a powerful form of strength. The lesson which I want to explain all of you was, what does Mandela story teach us about? It shows that real change doesn't happen overnight. It reminds us that challenges will come, but with resilience, we can overcome those. And perhaps most importantly, it teaches us that even in the darkest moment, we have the choice to choose hope over the hatred. I know it's not easy, but remember, my friends, Mandela once said, it always seems impossible until it's done. So I ask you today, what changes are you afraid of to face? What challenges seems too big to overcome? Remember, the power to change lives yours, and others start with the choices we make. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Nidhi. I love the way you started. The entire idea of the speech was very inspiring to me. I'm very impressed with the story that you shared with us. Now, we're going to have something which doesn't happen very often in a Toastmasters meeting. It's a panel discussion. But before we get there, I just want to tell you two things that one thing you don't know and one thing you do know about algorithms. The name algorithms comes from an Arabian mathematician and a philosopher called Al-Khwarizmi. So his name, once it reached other parts of the world outside the Arabian Peninsula, got corrupted and used and converted into the word algorithms that you and I are familiar with today. And the second thing is that you and I are living an algorithm-mediated life right now, except we don't realize it. For example, when you pick up WhatsApp, you'll notice that all your messages are arranged in sequential order. That's an algorithm in place. It is picking up all the messages that have been sent to you from the last time you checked your messages, and it just shows them in sequential order. While other algorithms, other social media platforms choose different ways of showing content to you. So you are, in fact, right now, living a mediated life, which is controlled and shown to you and presented to you through the means of an algorithm. With that said, let's move on to our second event for the evening. But before I get there, I want to request everyone to remember that this panel discussion is being hosted by Kashif, and it's mainly, only for the people in the panel discussion. Even if you have an opinion to share about the panel discussion, I would ask you to refrain from sharing it immediately, maybe after the panel discussion. That's fine as far as I'm concerned. But I would request you to maintain the sanctity of the panel discussion hosted by Kashif and with all our guests. With that, I'm going to add Kashif to the screen, if I can find him. Yes, I can find him. And ask his evaluator, Yavana, to explain to us how he plans to evaluate Kashif's panel discussion.
Hi all. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sai. Hope I am audible and clear and visible.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Today's speaker, Toastmaster Kashif, is attempting his level 3 project 1. This is an interesting project, I would say. It is something on reaching consensus. Purpose of this project is for the member to work with a group to practice reaching consensus on any topic. I think the timing is 15 minutes, right, Kashif?
It's 20 minutes.
20 minutes. So how would you like to have the cards being shown? So when do you want the green, yellow, and red to be shown?
Yeah, we can have it at 18, 19, and 20. 18 minutes green, 19 minutes yellow, and then 20 minutes red.
All the best to you, Kashif, to reach a consensus. And back to Toastmaster of the day, Sai.
You're on mute.
Thank you so much, Yavana. Tahir, like we discussed before, please show the cards at 18, 19, and 20. And for the summary, show it at 2, 2.5, and 3. Thank you very much. Let's confirm that Kashif can see the cards change. If you could change the screen. Kashif, what color do you see?
Just give me a minute. Yes, I see. I see green.
All right.
Yeah.
So Kashif, should I go ahead and add all the panelists to the screen?
Yes, please.
Panelists, please turn on your video if possible. Jayesh, I see Jayesh.
Can I do a quick sound check?
We will do that right after this. Give me one quick second. I don't see Midhu. Where is Midhu? There she is. All right, let's quickly go around the room and do a sound check. Deepak, let's start with you.
Yeah, mic test 1, 2, 3.
Hear you. We can see you also. Jayesh, you next.
Mic test 1, 2, 3.
See you. Hear you. Ganesh.
I'm living a wonderful life.
All right, that sounds exciting. Good. We can hear you and see you. So you're done too.
Thank you. Lovely.
Niyamat, you next.
Check 3, 2, 1.
Good. Midhu.
Towel.
Speaker number 2, Toastmaster Kashif Kidwai. A panel discussion on should we plan for the future or go with the flow? A panel discussion on should we plan for the future or go with the flow? Speaker number 2, Kashif Kidwai.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kashif, and I am your host, and I welcome you all to today's panel discussion. We have a very esteemed panel today, and I'm honored to be moderating today's discussion. I'm very excited to hear the thoughts of everyone on today's topic, and I hope you're all equally excited as well. The topic for the discussion, like Sai said, is that should we plan for the future or should we be more spontaneous? But before we begin, let me briefly introduce the panelists for today. Without any particular order, first, Deepak Khimani. Deepak is a thought leader in the personal finance space. He is an international keynote speaker on money and motivation. He's on a mission to create 1 million millionaires. So if you want to be a millionaire, you know who to connect with. Okay, the next speaker is a panelist is Midhu Luke. Midhu is a dynamic leader in delivery excellence, risk management, and governance, a passionate advocate for resilience and a compelling storyteller. She's a Bible study enthusiast and active social media content creator, and she helps others in navigating life's toughest challenges. Very interesting. The next panelist is Jayesh Patel. Jayesh is the founder and CEO of JK Globe Biz Consulting, an international business consulting company. He is also an author and a public speaker. The next panelist is Ganesh Vanchiswaran. Ganesh is a catalyst for self-expression. I love that sentence.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yes, as a person, branding coach, book writing mentor, storytelling trainer, and writer, he helps people and organizations take their ideas and messages to their audiences compellingly and authentically. And last, but certainly not the least, we have our very own Niyamat Chimthanawala. Niyamat is a pharmacologist in the field of behavioral neuroscience at Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. She's been a Toastmaster since 2015, and she enjoys reading fiction stories and biographies. Okay, so with that done, let me very briefly elaborate on the topic a little bit, and then we can get started. The topic is that planning and being spontaneous is a continuum. And nobody can be 100% live their life in a planning way. And nobody can be 100% spontaneous. We are somewhere on this continuum. But the question today is that which way do we lean towards? Do we lean towards a planning kind of a mindset or a more spontaneous mindset for the most optimal outcomes in our life, right? The people who plan, they have multiple goals and they have plans for each goal. And people who are more spontaneous, they have goals, right? It's not that they do not have goals, but they leave space for spontaneity, for inspiration, for intuition. So without any further ado, we will get started in the order in which I introduce the panelists. We will first hear from each of the panelists since we have limited time. So I would request you if you can keep your introductory remarks to 2 minutes. So the first 10 minutes, we'll just hear from the panelists, their view on the topic. And then for the next 10 minutes, we can have a more free-flowing discussion. So over to you, Deepak.
Thank you, Kashif, and thank you everybody who was involved in getting this meeting done and inviting me over here. As the saying goes, not having a plan or not planning is planning to fail. So what are we planning for? Are we planning to achieve a goal or are we planning to fail? Having said that, many a times life puts you in situations where you have planned for something and that thing does not happen. Or, I mean, just let's take this talk itself. Somebody gave a talk on a particular topic, on a particular subject. They planned for the last few days, the structure of their meet, the structure of the call. This is how I will start. This is how I will, keep it in between, and this is how I will end. And when they enter the studio or when they enter the room, they find either the topic has changed or because they had tried to remember, they just, regurgitated out what they had. There is no going with the flow. You can't, just have everything in a structure and assume everything will work out. Of course, processes work. So there is no right or wrong answer. You have to have a plan. You also need to go with the flow and have some sort of a way where you can balance everything. Just as in life, there is no black, there is no white, it's all shades of gray. Similarly, you need to have a basic structure, a basic plan, a skeleton, a process on which things will work. Having said that, you also need to be open to going with the flow.
Thank you, Deepak, for sharing your views. Can I request Midhu, sorry, to go next, please?
Thank you so much, Kashif. Thank you so much, Deepak, for starting it off for us, and Sai for inviting me to this meeting. I'm a recovering planner. When I started out with my life, I thought I had to plan everything to the T. So I had my 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 15-year plan, what I should buy when, materialistic as well when I started. And nothing wrong with that. But then I understood that life doesn't go the way that I planned. Even the smallest of things that I planned didn't work. So I thought, this is not going my way. Okay, then let me rewrite my plans and goals. It didn't go that way also. I started getting a little bitter, a little frustrated, a little moody. I started having this disorder, eating disorder. Not officially diagnosed, but I know I used to gobble up on food. Then I thought I need to change my stance. This is not going my way. So I started going with the flow. What happened with that is that I found mental peace. I found that there were surprises, good surprises, right, waiting for me along the way. Life started getting a little more easier, and I'm much at peace. And I think that's a pragmatic way of viewing life. Back to you, Kashif.
Thank you, Midhu, for sharing your ways, for sharing your ideas very authentically. Appreciate it. Can I request Jayesh to please share his views next?
Good evening. Thank you all of you for calling me here. I'll try to have a mix of what Deepak and Midhu both said, but try to put it in a different perspective, which I have been a firm believer of myself. So when you call something as a future and something like a flow, what I see future, I see that if rather than fixing about what you want to have, it is much better that you actually put it down into a more of a vision type of a thing where you don't fixate on the objectives. So for example, if you are looking to have a success, probably let's define that success in more of a way that what is a broad sort of a things do you want to do with that. So probably if that sort of a thing is being done, it gives you a more like a direction. So if you are a ship, consider yourself like a ship, that a ship has to work two ways. It has to conquer the waves and the weather conditions which come to them. That is something where you'll have to be continuum, or you will have to go with the flow. You will have to navigate those waves. But if you don't know the destination where your ship has to land, then probably it's always going to be a way that are you in the middle of the ocean or just swaying from one point to another point. So I say that let's take the analogy of a ship. Keep the future as a destination that I want to reach. But in the meanwhile, while I'm reaching the destination, I have to go with the flow.
Thank you, Jayesh. I think that was That was a very good and apt analogy, which you compared the flow with that of a ship and how we navigate and have a destination always in mind. Thank you for sharing your views. Can I for sharing your thoughts? Can I request Ganesh to please share his views next? Ganesh, you are on mute.
So yeah, like Midhu says, I too took knocks. Yeah, a lot of them and some of them very hard. Who hasn't, for that matter, right? Especially when it comes to business, health, family, etc. These really hit you hard. So one sets out in one's career thinking one wants to do certain things, and I did the same thing. So I was chugging along for a while, and then these hard knocks came, and that was a reality check for me. So that made me pause and question my own attitude about how I'm going about this thing. I'm taking my career as a focal point here, but then the same logic applies to other aspects of life too. So then this pause made me change tack, and from then on, it's been like this. I have big goals, and I do put out this vision for myself from time to time. It is not strictly on a calendar year basis or any other basis, but okay, I like to think of my birthday as a marker, as a better marker than the annual January to December wala thing. But there are these visions that I set for myself. As one achieves them, one erases that and moves on to the next vision. But by vision, I mean a long-term plan. All right, that's there. But those reality checks, those knocks have taught me to pause, to breathe, and not to obsess on this, and to give myself enough buffer, and to give myself enough elbow room to be more forgiving with myself, and to say, okay, this has happened, that has not happened. I'm happy about this, and I will now see how I can make that other goal happen. Right? So that's really been my approach for the last 10 odd years. And I think this has helped me grow. This has helped me just be myself. This has helped me find peace. And in real practical terms, it has helped me thrive also, in a commercial business kind of. So that's where I am. And I think I'm going to continue being this way. So just to add a few seconds more, this also leaves enough room for maneuvering, inspiration, that sudden idea that comes to you, the possibility that you see. So being in this way, breathing along the way, also helps me be alive to these possibilities.
Thank you, Ganesh, for that honest views, and really appreciate you sharing your views with all of us.
Thank you.
Next, I will request Niyamat to share her views, please.
Thank you, Kashif. So I have a few things to add here. A lot has already been said, and I kind of concur with majority of them. For me, it has always been about striking the right balance between planning what I'm planning to do in my day, in my week, in my month and life, versus enjoying the moments. And that is what it means to be in the flow. And there's this beautiful book by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi on flow, which is talking about the psychology of optimal experience. Since it's a proper noun, I couldn't pronounce it absolutely correctly, so I'm just going to put it in the text box and you can look it up. For me, it's always been about being absolutely conscious and in the moment in what I'm doing, whether it is attending this meeting, whether I'm at a particular task, whether it's engaging someone in a conversation. At that moment, you've got to be in the flow. At that moment, you have to be in absolute focus, concentration, oneness with that activity. And looking at the larger picture, I love the example of the boat or the ship. It's both the things sound wonderful, being in the flow and taking life as it comes, at the same time being a pragmatic, practical person and planning your life as it comes. Strike the balance between the two. Having everything planned and then life throwing you one whack, so you realize that planning too much, it says that perfection is paralysis. So you say you plan too much and you will be thrown off the road. You'll be thrown off the road, and something else will happen, and spontaneity will not be able to kick in. So yeah, going around to the main point that striking a balance between flowing and planning where required.
Thank you, Niyamat, for sharing your views. So now I think we've heard from everyone, and most of us have advocated for kind of a balance to maintain a balance between having planning and being more spontaneous. But if I had to kind of pick, I think Midhu definitely sounded like someone who she mentioned herself as a recovering planner, right? So I think that you, Midhu, lean towards a more spontaneous kind of person because you have been someone who's done her planning, but maybe that has not worked out for you. Is that right way of putting it, or am I missing something here?
See, one, I do, you absolutely got it. But there are certain things which need every day of mine. Okay, I worked on this as well, wherein, I would plan my entire week, my entire month, my 3 months. I'll have my calendar blocked on that. And then I used to feel so stressed out. Oh my God, one thing to another. Then there's an alarm which is coming for the next activity. Oh my God, it was so stressful. That doesn't work for me anymore. At that level, it doesn't work. But I do simple things like, okay, I want to have one thing which you've seen this reel on Instagram which says January, February. So with everything, you need to have one picture. I want to do that this year. One picture for every month. Okay. Combine all of that and put a reel. And I think I'll be happy with that achievement, one achievement every month. So that is planning as well. But that is a planning which does not have too many hard and strict boundaries. There is flow in that.
Right. Okay. Another thought which I picked up from everybody was, I think Deepak mentioned that not planning is planning to fail. And Jayesh also mentioned that we should have a destination in mind so that, we don't lose our way. So is that how important it is to have like a goal or a destination? So anybody can share their views on the importance of having goals and then driving towards those goals.
Should I start?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So let's say you decided to go on a vacation, and currently this, airline sale is going on. And during the, months of April and May, when your children will not be going to school, you want to go to a particular hill station you've never gone to. If you don't take action just now, a ticket which is available for 5,000 rupees today, tomorrow will become 8,000 rupees. So clearly you have to take action. You have to plan. You know the date you want to travel because your children will be having vacations. You know on what date you will travel, on what flight you want to book, morning you want to be back in the evening, etc. So that plan needs to be there. However, what is the meaning of going with the flow? Let's say you booked a ticket for the 1st of May and your flight got delayed. Nothing is in your hands. You can't do it. You can keep on cribbing, or you can wait till the flight is rescheduled, or you landed at the airport and there is a bus and a taxi strike. Now what do? You have a 3-hour trip, going from Coimbatore to Ooty. What do? You can't walk up to Ooty. You have to be flexible. You may have to wait for tomorrow. You'll have to take, an accommodation in a hotel. So it is very, very important to have a plan. I'm a financial planner. I tell people that this is the way you have to plan your finances so that you achieve your financial goals. So clearly you need to be, have a plan and have a flexible plan.
Yes, definitely. I think everyone agrees that a plan is necessary. But how important is it to also be in the moment, right? I think that is. Yes, Jayesh, please.
So I will definitely second what Deepak ji said. I'll bring a quote which I heard a lot. I think it was spoken by many of the generals in the army. They say that this is a military operations. Whatever we plan never goes according to the plan. But how they actually make that system very well worked out is that when you go with the flow, the idea of going with the flow is to just make up your own mind and say that, okay, I have a destination in mind. It's not working. But now in that moment, what is the best thing I can do? Whether I'm going to crib about it, that, okay, my plan has failed or my plan has, because if the plan has succeeded, there is no problem. But if the plan has failed, are you going to crib about it? Or are you just going to see that, okay, this is what I can do in the best part of the situation? Because that is what is going to give you that momentum or a course correction in a way. So I believe that when we talk about destinations or a future, that's there. But when the things go bad, probably 90% of the people start blaming about the plan, that the plan was not great, plan was not good. I would suggest that it's better that what you can do in that moment, let's go with that flow, what you can take out the best, and then take that learning, what went wrong in the plan, course correct it for the future. But at the moment, don't loosen out the hope that my plan did not work. Probably it was a wrong step. It would have been much better that if we would have gone with the flow.
Thank you, Jayesh. I think Midhu, you have to say something. Please, can I request you to keep it brief because we have already reached the end of our time. Yes.
Okay, really brief. Because Jayesh mentioned that you'll have to see what went wrong. The hand of destiny is something that we cannot avoid, and we cannot discount, and that's not something that you can correct. Back to you.
Okay, I think we have reached the end of our time, but any parting words, a line or two from anyone before we close? And then I will share my thoughts finally. Yes. Yes,
I'd like to, but Niyamat, do you want to go first? I think you also put up your hand sometime back.
No, it's fine. Carry on, please.
Okay, cool. So it's like this. I'm just bringing another dimension to this whole thing, which is about intention. So I think if you would like to live life intentionally, then this plan becomes really very important. Otherwise, you can just go by flow. But the thing is, the quality of your life and what you end up doing, there are very, very stark differences. So I'm living life with a certain bit of intention, at least in certain areas. So in those areas, planning is essential. While whatever the others have said and I've said earlier about breathing, being in the moment, being flexible enough is important. But for areas where I need to make a difference, there is some intention. A plan is vital.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ganesh. Okay, so thank you, everyone. It was very lovely to hear everyone's thoughts on the topic, and it's a topic which is certainly very close to my heart. That's why I chose this topic. And now I have to conclude. I think what we all agreed, certainly one thing we all agreed on is that a balance is necessary, and between planning and between being spontaneous. And Deepak did say that planning is very essential. He's a financial planner himself. So, of course, for people who don't plan financially, they regret later in life. So, definitely for finances and in other areas of life as well, planning is necessary. Midhu, I really loved what she said, that she's a recovering planner. Like she used to plan, but then that led to some sort of frustration as well, which led her to discover a new way of life where planning is not the only thing that is important, but also how we can go with the flow. Yeah. Right. And Jayesh gave his example about the ship. I love that example, because if the ship doesn't have a destination, then it can certainly lose its way. Yes. That was a good example. And then Ganesh also very candidly shared his life experiences in terms of whatever there have been a few knocks he took, and who of us can say that they have not taken any knocks in life. Yeah. And that is something which taught him to take a pause and not to obsess. That is something I definitely agree with, because I have certainly taken knocks in life, and that has taught me as well how to go with the flow. And then Niyamat also mentioned about this book, Going with the Flow. I have read that book some time back, And I remember that the book says that when you are in the flow, and it talks about some artists and a lot of people who are very accomplished in their field, and they mention those kind of experiences when they are in the flow, they do their best work. So certainly that is very important to be in a state of flow. And what I have seen in my life is that to be in a state of flow, we have to be in the moment. Okay, and being in the moment is important. Certainly, there is work to be done and planning to be done. There is no denying the fact. We all agree on that. But it's also important to be in the moment, because when we are in the moment, then we can do some of our best work, which we cannot even imagine. Right? So that's what I think I will leave with that. It's definitely important to be spontaneous, because then you can also accomplish something which you can't even imagine, because by planning you can only accomplish what you can imagine. So I think with that I will close today's panel discussion, and again thank all of the panelists for sharing their views very candidly. Thank you, everyone. And back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Sai.
Thank you very much, Kashif. Job well done as a panel host. And thank you all our panelists for being part of this panel discussion. Technically, you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting, but we would love to have you continue in the meeting. And we will be sending your certificates over to you, a participation certificate over to you through our back channels that you and I share. Now, we have to move on to the third part of our meeting. And before we do that, let me quickly ask our timer how our two speakers did, Nidhi and Kashif. Tahir, where are you? Let me make sure I can spotlight you. Yes, please.
Needed took a time of 4 minutes 35 seconds. And for the Kashif, the panel discussion was of 21 minutes and 15 seconds. And the summary was 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Kashif, unfortunately, you didn't plan your panel discussion and your summary to the extent where you finished on time. So unfortunately, Kashif, you will not be part of the voting for the best speaker of the evening. And Nidhi, who spoke just above the threshold for qualification, will be by default chosen as the best speaker for the evening. But the fact of the matter is, both of you were wonderful speakers, and we enjoyed listening to both of you doing your job as speakers for the evening. Now we're going to move on to table topics, which is the part of the meeting where all of us can participate. I'm going to hand it over to a person you've already heard, a microbiologist and a pharmacologist who works at the ICT. That's what I remember. The ever-smiling Niyamad is going to take over as the table topic master.
Thank you very much. Good evening, dearest all. Am I clearly audible?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so you know what? This is, I don't know if there's any other biologist in the room. It is a disgrace. I don't deal with bacteria, I deal with humans. So it's like I'm one step above. So microbiology doesn't work for me. But anyway, thank you, Sai, for giving me the floor. I won't waste much time because I want to spend more time in the activity of table topics. So yes, as a table topics master, it is my job to ensure that not only Toastmasters, but also non-Toastmasters can participate and get a feel of what it feels like to be on the spot, given a topic, and speak. Have a speech that you can speak. Now, what aspects of communication can we hope to get better at through this activity? Listening. The topics that I will be giving you, the topics that you will hear from me, will be something that you will have to hear, and then at that moment, let's say take 30 seconds, come up with a speech and deliver. Thinking. You get to think on your feet. Since it's a quick activity, you don't get much time to deliberate and plan. No planning here, a lot of spontaneity. Organizing. So you have to organize your thoughts. It can't come up in a haphazard fashion. It has to come up in a certain amount of flow for it to be sounding something that you would like to listen to. And the last one would be delivering. Whatever you have thought of, whatever you have planned in your head has to spontaneously come out in the form of a decent enough speech. So what I've decided here today is I'll be giving a topic, and it is a story. I mean, it will be built around a story. It is up to you to make it a fictional one or a real one. And where that story ends, where that character ends, you can pick up and build your own story. Is that okay? Have I scared you all enough? No? Okay, fine. All right, who will go first? Let's see. Maybe let's ask the panelists to hold on for some time. Let's take, yes, Sumit, you are a fellow Toastmaster. You can definitely go ahead. So for you, since you'll be the one who's starting the story, I'll give you the cue. And then from wherever you finish off, somebody else will have to pick up. Yes, yes. The timing for the table topics. So the table topics will be for 1 minute. 1 minute at least is the limited that you're supposed to speak. And where is the timer? There. Toastmaster Tahir. Toastmaster Tahir will flash the green card at 1 minute, the yellow card at 1 minute 30, and the red card at 2 minutes. And you get a grace period of 30 seconds. Yes. Again, like I said, this is open to Toastmasters as well as guests. So first we'll have Toastmaster Sumit. Toastmaster Sumit, I hope you could see Toastmaster Tahir's cards.
Yes, I can see it.
All right. Are you ready to be put on the spot? Not that I'm giving you much choice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Toastmaster Sumit. As the plane touched down, I breathed a huge sigh of relief. As the plane touched down, I breathed a huge sigh of relief. Toastmaster Sumit.
So, I recently joined new company in Bangalore, which is startup company, for which I have to. The role was quite complicated, and for that role, I used to travel a lot. For somehow there was an urgent meeting called by our manager, director as well. So because of that, I have to plan my travel urgently. For that, I have to fly all the way from the Bangalore to the Shimla for certain site observations. I took the flight immediately. I was so I was so unprepared for that travel. I took the flight, and as the flight was about to reach the airport, it was kind of weather gets sketchy, and because of that, all the heavy rains and cloudy weather, all the suddenly there was some kind of moment of fear in all of us, and the pilot announcement has happened. Flight has been There is some problem in the flight, and we are delaying the landing. So because of that, everyone gets frightened. So what is happening? The weather from the window, weather is also looking uncertain, and we are all frightened with the what will be the next scenario in this flight. But fortunately, after few minutes, around 20 minutes after that, fly, pilots the flight has been landed successfully on the runway, and we all got relief from that experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I will not waste much time. We'll take Shyam Sampath.
Yes. So
Yeah.
will I get a cue or do I have to continue from here?
Yeah, so you're on the flight. You just tell me, you want to get off the flight and do something else? I'll give you another cue.
Give me a cue. I would like to, play with whatever I
Yeah,
get.
okay. As you were walking down the street, suddenly you felt a spider in your pocket. As you were walking down the street, you suddenly felt the spider in your pocket. Yeah.
All right. So we landed, and fortunately, all of us were safe. I started walking out of the huge field that we landed in, which was fortunately a farmland. So we landed in a safe place. I started walking some distance to go to a place which was close to some settlement of what seemed like some sign of human beings setting up base there. Someone was staying there. But as you were walking towards that place, I felt a huge spider in my pocket. Something was crawling with 6 legs. And I am generally frightened of spiders. But I don't know, this whole experience of landing from a plane and all of these frightening things happening built some courage inside me. And I decided that, hey, it's okay. What if it's just a spider? I survived a plane crash. Like, what is this? I reached out in my pocket to take what was crawling inside, and I saw that it wasn't exactly crawling, it was just moving, and it was a fake spider. The one made of rubber that my friend sitting beside me had planted in my pocket, thinking that it would be a good prank to play on me when we get on site to the place where we have to carry out our work. And someone who was pragmatic said that, hey, spiders have 8 legs, but you said 6, right? But I said, hey, it doesn't matter. It's a rubber spider. It's fake. So I was cool as a cucumber, and I just kept walking towards wherever we had to go. And somehow I was shaken up by this whole plane landing incident, but I was very calm in handling the spider. And we started walking towards our next destination. Thank you.
Fantastic. Can I give Rahul a chance? Yes? Okay. Rahul, are you ready?
I think Midhu was before me. I'll go after her. She had raised
Okay.
hand before me.
Yeah, but she was also one of the panelists, which is why, but perfect. All right. Midhu, here it is for you. So you reach your house and you can't believe there she was in front of you. You can't believe that there she was in front of you.
That was Raha Miriam, my pet beagle. I had just adopted her, and she was waiting for me for about 4 hours or something because my flight was delayed. So then she jumped on me, and me being the pragmatic person that I always am, I just sat, with her uh, beside me on the sofa. Then I check my bag to see what do I have any treat which I can give her. Thankfully, I did find, and I gave it to her, and she was all happy. And then she went around the room doing zoomies. That's it.
All right. Thank you. Let's have Rahul. Yeah.
Yep, ready.
And then you finished playing with your pet, and it was night time when you heard a huge pounding on the door. You heard a huge pounding on the door, Rahul.
While I was enjoying and completely attentive to those small moments and those moments which always we cherish with the loved one, be it a animal or a loving team members or family members, suddenly I heard the knock on my door. It was obvious that I've been out for a while, and there must be someone either caring for me or somebody who is in need. And I opened my door, and that was a surprise for me. I had my friends coming as a surprise visitors, but full of food and gifts for me. And then I realized, yes, people haven't forgotten my birthday. And it was not just for the surprise, but it was also for a celebration. While we were engaged into conversation, I also told them about the story about the weather, the flight, the other elements of this fully loaded tour. It was a quite of experience, and I had enough of material to discuss with them and also have their opinion. While I was enjoying that, then I also thanks them with full sincerity for giving this good gesture. And once they left, I had a very nice, peaceful sleep. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster, Table Topic Master Nia.
Okay, can we have Sunit now? So you went and had a good night's sleep, or so you thought, but the door creaked and the lights went out. The door creaked and the lights went out. Sunit.
Okay. So I was very tired after coming home from the flight, and I was not expecting my friends. And I thought I should not have put my status on Instagram. Others. So that's why that is how they came to know. So yeah, so they are gone now, and I was resting for a while. I was watching a horror movie. Uh, and then suddenly things came into life. The either I was still dreaming or I was either watching the movie. I don't know, but I started to get those sensations, and it was really scary. So in such times, what I do is I turned on my lights, I turned up the volume of my TV, and I listened to some music. Then it was kind of relaxing. Then I, uh, got relaxed and went on to sleep again after that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunit. All right, how many more do we have? How many more can I take, timer? One more. Arvind. Yeah, Arvind, you're here. Anybody else? Okay, Toastmaster Arvind, since you have just joined us, so we are doing this table topic session where you speak in continuation with the story. Yes, okay, perfect. So you thought you went to sleep and you watched your horror film, and suddenly there was a phone call. And suddenly there was a phone call. Toastmaster Arvind.
Thank you for the topic. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. That phone call really jolted me. Why? Because I had just read in the newspapers as we came down that the US has sent in a defense flight with a large number of people that Trump didn't want them there, send them back to India. And what do you think that phone call was? It was one of those people who was sent back. It was a childhood school friend who had come back. We were very good friends, but for some reason, he felt that crossing the 7 seas would make him a better person. But fate had something else for him. With all the planning that he did, he was unable to get to where he wanted to be. Unfortunately, Trump had a second term. And that's when he thought, oh, this is a better place now. But little did he know, all that he had planned for fell flat. And there was that knock that normally happens in Germany during the time of Hitler, that you are to go. And unfortunately, he had boarded that flight and he said, I am back in India, dejected. Toastmaster Niyamat, over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arvind. And with this, I would like to call this wonderful session to an end. Just remarking that it's interesting how all our thoughts, in a way, converge together, and they run also to so many places. We were on a flight, we came on a field, we walked with a spider, we met a cat, and we watched some horror film, and then talked about going back, a child coming back on a flight. So in a way, a full circle. So thank you very much for participating, everyone. Toastmaster Tahir, if you could just have the timers report very quickly.
So Sumit to the 1 minute and 54 seconds. Sham to the 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Toastmaster Midu to the 46 seconds. Toastmaster Rahul took 1 minute and 29 seconds.
So
Sumit
how
took
many have
1
just
minute and
qualified? Sorry, if
okay.
everyone is qualified
Everyone is
or
qualified, yeah.
everyone's qualified?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. And with this, we come to an end of the table topic session. And I hand the reins of the meeting back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sai.
Everything about table topics was believable, except the part where one of the speakers said that he posted something on Instagram and it showed up immediately to his friends. That doesn't happen anymore. And the person you can blame for that is the person in charge of the algorithms based on which your feed or your content is shown to your friends. It's no longer the linear content that you see in WhatsApp and what Facebook and other social media platforms how they used to work. They used to show your content in sequence. Now it's all about what you engage with and all those things. And there is a little nuance to this. Because these social media platforms are choosing what to show you, technically, they're editorializing what you're going to see. They are choosing what they want to show to you, just like in a newspaper. The newspaper editor chooses what news to put on the homepage, on the front page versus the later pages. Similarly, social media platforms are choosing what to show you. So there is justifiable questions whether social media platforms should be protected from the content that they are exposing on their platform. Because, okay, let me give you a lot of background to this. There's something called Section 230 in the United States, which protects social media platforms from the law if they show content to people which they should not be seeing. For example, adult content to children or content promoting violence to people. So those things, if they show to to children or to people, they are not liable for this simply because of Section 230. Now, people are challenging Section 230 in the United States, saying that since social media platforms are editorializing, they are choosing what to show you based on what you've engaged with in the past. They are technically no longer just showing content in a sequential manner, and they're choosing what to show you. Hence, they should be held responsible for what's coming up in your feed. The argument against that is that nobody understands what the algorithm does. They don't really know how the algorithms work. So they're the people who own those social media platforms, like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and everybody, they're saying that we don't know what is happening behind the scenes. We've just built something which is like a black box to us, so you cannot hold us responsible for what you're seeing on your screen. So that is the story of algorithms. And the person whose friends got to see their content first, lucky you, but that's not how it's going to work on your phone for much longer. With that, I'm going to move on to the third section of the meeting, which happens to be the evaluation section of the meeting, the part of the meeting where the most growth and the most tough conversations happen. For that, I'm going to call up our general evaluator, but again, I'm not able to see her. Oh yeah, I see the video coming on. Let me call up our general evaluator, Sandhya, to help us evaluate our meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As the Toastmaster of the day already said, this is the general evaluation segment, and I'm going to be pretty pragmatic and get started to do the job that I have been assigned to. So the first segment of this section will be to call upon the evaluators who will be evaluating the prepared speakers that you heard in the first session of this meeting. So let me, the time limit for the evaluations is 2 to 3 minutes. The timer will show the green card at 2 minutes, the yellow at 2.5, and the red at the end of 3 minutes. Evaluators will be disqualified if they take more than 30 seconds on either side of the 2 to 3 minute time limit. All right, so let's call upon our first evaluator for the meeting, Toastmaster Krishna, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Nidhi's speech. Toastmaster Krishna, before you get started, please let us know if you can see the timer's screen changing. Toastmaster Tahir, if you could just demonstrate that.
Green,
Yes.
yellow, now red.
Great. Toastmaster Krishna, over to you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Nidhi, your speech was interesting in the sense that you have a very powerful way of speaking in the fact that no one has to tell you need to enunciate. This is something you can continue doing for the rest of your Toastmasters journey. It was very clear. It was probably the most clear speech I've ever heard in my life. I could hear and understand every word. You were stressing on the right words while you were speaking. This is something that seems to have come very naturally to you. And I encourage you to continue this as you go through your speech. While doing this, you did use a 3-word speech pattern. So you would say 3 words, take a longer pause, and then speak 3 words again. That ended up becoming predictable, and that ended up becoming a little bit of a monotone. So if you can work on just that 3-word issue, I think your enunciation is one of the biggest highlights of your speech. Nidhi, your pathway is visionary communication. You're on level 4. Hence, permit me to be a little pragmatic with my evaluation today. Your target of your speech, the reason you were giving us a speech today, was to practice the skills needed to effectively communicate change to a group or organization, which means this has to be the member practicing speaking about change. Your speech was about how South Africa, a lot of people were oppressed. Nelson Mandela came and saved them. I didn't hear how that impacted you. I didn't hear what from that speech is a change that you are going to imply, or what from that speech is a change or key concepts which you think we can all start applying. It was an inspirational story. I didn't really hear a change management strategy from that speech. I would recommend you look at this project again, respectfully. Have a look at this project again because, and here is my suggestion on how you look at this project again. You can give the same speech with Nelson Mandela at the center of your address. But as you're speaking about Nelson Mandela, bring in a real life story as well. Maybe of a time where something happened and you decided to ignore it and didn't action it. And then when you heard about Nelson Mandela's story, that's made a big change in your life. Now you started applying those changes. What changes? So what did Nelson Mandela do first? Did you also implement that in a similar way? How did you do the change management? That needs to come out in your speech. When you do that, it shows that you've learned something. And second, it shows you're effectively able to communicate that change management to us. That was the objective of your speech. And I believe if you do that, it would make you a phenomenal speaker. I think you have a fantastic way of speaking with your diction, with your enunciation. Look at that 3-word thing I said. Every 3 words, you're pausing after that. Look at the speech objectives really carefully and try to push yourself because an inspirational story is easy. Really pushing yourself to the nuances of your speech objective, that will make you a phenomenal speaker. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Krishna. I'm sure that our speaker has benefited a lot from your evaluation. And Toastmaster Nidhi, probably you will consider giving this speech again with the changes that the evaluator has recommended. So let's move on to the next evaluator who has a tough job tonight to evaluate the entire panel discussion that was spearheaded by our second speaker, Toastmaster Kashif. Toastmaster Yavna, before you get started, let us know if you can see the timer screen.
Yes, green, yellow, red.
Great. Toastmaster Yavna, over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Kashif, what a fantastic moderation, I would say, as a panel. You, this specific project, which is reaching consensus, is really an interesting one that pushes our boundary to listen to various different thoughts of each and every speaker and finally land up at a particular thought, which is almost agreed by everyone. In that way, the panel was perfectly moderated. Number one is the selection of topic, where people will be able to contribute judiciously. The topic was, should we plan for the future or should we go with the flow? So fantastic selection. The second best part is how you introduced each panelist. So that gave the picture that, okay, all our stalwarts here, they have a good experience in this segment and they are going to add on value. Bang on. And you said the ground rules very clear. First round is going to be a 2-minute speech by everyone. Then I'll quickly come back to everyone asking opinions and further deep dive to everyone's aspect. So that was very well set. Kudos on it. Then Equal opportunities were given to each and everyone. And even when you felt the red card has already come, you still ensured that in case if anyone else would like to add their point. When the panel moderation was fantastically done, I would like to touch upon the speech objectives part again here. This project involves reaching consensus. So that means, so let me see how this went. I felt like the entire panel discussion went in a format of table topic. So one round of full table topic and again the second round of table topic. So instead, it could have been focused with clear questions like Toastmaster Midhu. I know that there can be a balance between planning for the future as well as go with the flow. But where you are more oriented and why, you could have put a very specific question whether you are towards left or towards right and why. I do understand when you gave the first open conversation, everybody stood at the center point. Everybody came to the entire gray. So in case if you would have put a question that, are you more towards black or you're towards white and why, you could have got fantastic points, around 10 to 12 points this side and 10 to 12 points this side. The second round of conversation could have been like, now that you have heard 10 points against this, so now would you like to change your opinion? So that should have been the second round. When a stipulated time is given, just in 20 minutes, are we able to reach to a consensus? So this shows how in a corporate segment, you have limited amount of time, discussing both sides of the view and reaching a consensus on time. So that's what this project pushes you. So overall, great job done as a panel moderator. As a speech objective, you could have given two sides and then ask the people to vote which one would you like to land up. So there's where you would have come to a consensus. But overall, fantastic panel moderation. And back to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Yavana. I think that was very detailed and useful feedback. I'm sure, including the speaker, all of us here have also benefited from your pragmatic tips on how to conduct a panel discussion and how to moderate it. So thank you so much for that. I would now like to invite our timer for tonight for one last time to tell us the time taken by the two evaluators.
Toastmaster Krishna has took 9 minutes, 3 minutes and 9 seconds, and your Toastmaster Yavana took 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Okay, so unfortunately, that means that Toastmaster Yavana will have to be disqualified from the voting for the best evaluator. But nonetheless, all of us enjoyed listening to your evaluation. I must say that. All right, so now let's call upon the R counter for the evening, Toastmaster Shubhayan. He's up and ready with his video on. Toastmaster Shubhayan, please tell us, how did all the speakers do tonight in terms of using the filler words? Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I will just be sharing my screen. Can someone please enable screen sharing?
It's done. You can try again.
Great. Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. Please let me know once my screen is visible.
Visible.
Yes.
Okay, great. Starting off the meeting, the Sergeant at Arms did not make any utterances of any filler words, scratch words, or filler sounds or pauses from what I had observed. Moving over to the presiding officer, who also served as the speaker 2 of this session, had 10 counts of 29 counts of 4 counts of and, so 2 counts of so, 1 count of but, 1 count of now, and 1 count of like. Now, this is naturally something which comes off if you have a very elongated session. Like, for example, Toastmaster Kashif was delivering a special project.
again, that has special requirements which require him to speak for a longer time. In this case, it involved him moderating a session. So naturally, it becomes difficult to moderate your usage of crutch words, sounds, and phrases in this case. Moving over, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sai, again, flawless. There were no instances of crutch words or sounds or phrases or filler words that I had noticed. Starting off with our speakers. Our first speaker of the day, Toastmaster Nidhi, no instance that I noticed of any crutch words, phrases, or sounds. So kudos to Toastmaster Nidhi. Moving over to our table topic speakers. For table topic speaker 1, Sumit had 2 instances of a. For table topic speaker 2, Sham had 2 instances of 3 instances of and 1 instance of so. Table topic speaker 3, Midhu, who also served as panelist 2, had one instance of and 3 instances of you know. Table topic speaker 4, Rahul, who is also serving as the grammarian, was flawless. Table topic speaker 5, Sunit, had 4 instances of 1 instance of so, and 1 instance of you know. And finally, table topic speaker 6, distinguished Toastmaster Arvind, was again flawless. Moving over to the panelists for the panel discussion. We had panelist 1, Deepak, who had 1 instance of I mean and 2 instances of you know. Panelist 2, I've already mentioned. Panelist 3, Jayesh, who had 3 instances of a. Panelist 4, Ganesh, who had 4 instances of a, 5 instances of so, 2 instances of you know, and 1 instance of and. Finally, moving over to the table topic master herself, Toastmaster Niyamat, who also served as panelist member 5, had 1 instance of a and 1 instance of so. Moving over to the evaluation section, our first evaluator for today's meeting, Toastmaster Krishna, was flawless. There were no instance of any crutch words, phrases, or filler words. And moving over to our second evaluator, Toastmaster Yavana, had 5 instances of a and 1 instance of And finally, the general evaluator, Toastmaster Sandhya, had 4 instances of a. That concludes our counters report for this meeting, handing the table back to the general evaluator. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shubhayan, for that detailed and comprehensive report. I would now like to call upon the grammarian for today, Toastmaster Rahul, to give his report. Over to you, Toastmaster Rahul.
Thank you, General Evaluators, Toastmaster Sandhya. I do have Excel, but looking at a time, I will be quick and I will highlight the major points. Overall, I could see during speakers as well as during panel discussion, everyone was talking in order to indicate the possibility, either the possibility in the past or possibility in the future or during the past present time. So I noted down many of you used word like you have to, where to denote that particular importance of that particular activity, but it could be one has to. So that becomes anonymous. Then some of them used a word like broad, sort of, again, you will have to. So those things are again indicative way, so you can anonymize that. Somewhere it was used as a spoken by army leader. It could be different way. It was in the past, so it can be referred by army leaders or always said by army leaders. There were good usage of the phrases where like shades of gray, gobble on food, recovering planner, strategic pause, algorithm mediated life. I also noted down that few of you have mentioned like it seems like. So that can be avoided. I reached out to my pocket. It could be I check my pockets, or that has not happened. It can be it couldn't happen. Similarly, yeah. So all of that is all around the topic of, let's say, indicative possibility. So including me, I think this is a good area of improvement for all of us from the grammar point of view. Thanks, and back to you, General Orator Sandhya.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rahul, for that report. I would now like to present my evaluation on the overall meeting, what we did well as a club and where we could improve. So let me start with the start of the meeting. I'm very glad to say that we started the meeting in time. The Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Saurabh was looking at the clock, and he started exactly when the clock struck 7 p.m. So congratulations on that. Toastmaster Saurabh also explained the club mission well, and the other things that have to be explained by the Sergeant at Arms. The only feedback I have for the SA is that although this was done by the Toastmaster of the day a little later, the SA could, in the beginning itself, ask all the role players to rename themselves and put their roles before their names so that it's done right at the beginning of the meeting, and give everyone about a minute to do that so that it happens smoothly. Other than that, the SA was excellent. Coming to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Kashif. Toastmaster Kashif, I loved the message that you gave today. What a start to the meeting about how you participated in the marathon and how you translated to that about service, and then how you brought that back to service as Toastmasters and encouraged guests to actually join Toastmasters using that. So very well put together as a message. The only feedback that I have for you is that you interacted with a couple of guests, but there were many other guests in the meeting. So even if you do not have time to interact with all of them, make sure to acknowledge that these are all the guests, and maybe we'll come back to them at the end of the meeting. Otherwise, excellently done as the presiding officer. Coming to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sai. Very interesting choice of theme, of algorithm, something that we are surrounded with, something that is all around us, but we seldom talk or discuss about it in this detail. So good choice of the theme. You started off very well. I especially liked how you engaged with the audience in the beginning, and you had everyone's attention right there when you asked questions about math and multiplication and explained to us what an algorithm is. The only feedback I have is that you could try to introduce each role player. So, for example, you just invited the timer, but you can also tell us a little bit more about who the timer is, who Toastmaster Tahir is, who Toastmaster Rahul is, etc. So that would also tell the audience whom we are interacting with and talking to. So that's something you can think about adding as the next time when you play the role. Coming to the tag team, the timer, the grammarian, and the counter, I think all of you did extremely well. All of you explained the role very well right in the beginning. Toastmaster Tahir, technically, the timer's role is extremely crucial, and you handled that very well. So congratulations on that. Toastmaster Rahul, very good choice of the word of the day. It's easy to use, but also a word that we do not use very well. So a pragmatic choice of the word of the day. Congratulations on that. You also explained your role very well and also summarized your report well and told us how we did in terms of good and not so good usage of grammar. But I think you missed out on telling us who used the word of the day. That is something you should have added in the report. Another thing that you could consider the next time as the grammarian is to introduce the word of the day a little more creatively. You just put it directly in the chat box. So when you're explaining your role, also tell us about the word of the day, announce it, explain what it means, and maybe a little bit more creatively, if you have a slide on that or something, it will help the audience to retain what the word of the day is. And you could also consider giving us a phrase of the day that people could try to use along with a word of the day. Otherwise, very well done as the grammarian. The R counter, Toastmaster Shubhayan, again, your role was explained very well. And clearly, the Excel sheet that you shared told us that you have listened to everyone extremely carefully. You've done your job very well as the R counter. The only feedback I have for you is if there is any speaker who uses filler words more than 5 times, please do not announce that number. Just say that, this person used more than 5 times, because otherwise it becomes a little embarrassing for the person. You can maybe communicate that to the person privately, the exact number, but just restrict it to a maximum of 5. Coming to the table topics master of the day, Toastmaster Niyamat, I thoroughly enjoyed the table topics session. You explained the segment very well, given that we have a number of guests tonight. You welcomed the audience. There was a constant smile on your face during the entire session. I just loved that. And of course, your concept of storytelling kept everyone in the meeting glued to the session. So I do not have any feedback for you on improvement. I absolutely loved the session. Finally, coming to our 2 speakers and evaluators, I think all of them did very well. I do not have any specific feedback for them. I think the evaluators did a very good job of giving feedback to the evaluators, and I'm sure that the speakers will take that into consideration for the next time. So overall, I think it was a great meeting. There was good participation from everyone. We had panelists who are not Toastmasters, and I'm sure we will get a chance to interact with them at the end of the meeting, and they can tell us how they found a Toastmasters meeting. The other feedback that I have for all of us in general is if we can conduct the polls immediately after each session rather than waiting for the end of the meeting. So once the prepared speeches are done, let's get the poll, because ideally we should not be waiting for the evaluators to give feedback to the prepared speakers and then ask the audience to evaluate, because otherwise the evaluators' bias will be there for the audience when they are voting for the speakers. Also, the memory is more fresh about the speakers. The same with table topics. If you ask me now to vote for the table topic speaker, I might not even remember who spoke what. So it's better to conduct that immediately. The Toastmaster of the day is telling me my time is up. So on that note, I am going to give it back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster sir.
Ouch, that noise at the back was something falling. But the good news is that this meeting is about to come to a close. I don't have much more content to share on algorithms because we're running late. I'm going to launch the polls really quickly, and I am going to hand over charge of the meeting to the presiding officer, who was running a little late in the beginning, but she's back now. Do I see Nidhi in the meeting anywhere? Nidhi, can you please turn on your video? And if Nidhi is not able to do that, let me see if Kashyap can turn on his video. One minute. All right. So in that 1 minute, I'm going to launch the polls. So people, please do go ahead and vote for the people you thought were the best participants in the meeting. Unfortunately, this speaker number 2 and evaluator number 2 overshot their time, so we don't have any voting for their specific segments. But please go ahead and vote if possible. These videos on. So with that, no more feedback on algorithms, and it's over to Nidhi to take charge of the meeting from this point onwards. Ouch. Nidhi's in darkness.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day Sai, for having such a great meeting. Apart from it, all the guests. and as well as the evaluators and the general evaluator for having such a great session. And I hope everyone, each one of you, have learned something from this meeting moving forward to, make ourselves a better. But before that, I just wanted to interact with the area director in this meeting, Toastmaster Karthik.
I think Karthik said that he's also going to be multitasking. So I don't know if
And that's already done, man.
All
That's
right.
already done.
There he is.
Yeah, so area director, Toastmaster Karthik, how did you feel about our meeting?
Exciting. Very exciting. I am, in fact, tempted to come back as a Toastmaster, not as an area director.
Okay, sure. You're always welcome. Apart from it, the guests, Suneet. I'll come back to you, Toastmaster Karthik, later.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, how did you feel about this meeting? Any insights or any recommendation from our end?
No, I enjoyed it thoroughly, and the discussion topic was really interesting to listen to, and I listened it fully. And I thought I could have done better in the table topics. There were so many stories running in my mind after I gave the speech. So
You're most welcome to our club meeting next time. We'll send you an invite. Do come.
Thank you.
Are you a member of a Toastmaster? Any club?
No, not yet. I'm attending some offline clubs right now, but
Okay.
not yet taken a membership.
Okay, fine. Well, how about Sumit? I think you came last week also, but that
No, I
was an
didn't.
informal meeting.
I think you're thinking about Sham. Sham was there for the informal meeting.
No,
Sumit,
okay, yeah, sorry. My bad. Hello, Sumit.
Yes, it was great to be here. Yeah, I came here first time. Yes. I came here first time, and my feedback is it was very wonderful meeting. It was very engaging. Then the table topic was also very interesting and creatively defined, and speech as well as that discussion round was very good. So overall, I enjoyed the whole meeting and evaluation and all the perfect. Thank you so much.
But any recommendation or the feedback, Sumit, you want to provide to us?
All good. No, any recommendation.
I think, is it just for me or anyone? I'm not able to hear you properly,
yes,
Sumit.
there's an issue with the audio. Let's move on to Arvind, maybe. Arvind and Krishna.
Enjoyed every single thing
Yeah.
happened.
Okay, we'll get back to you, Sumit, later. Arvind,
Am I
are you
audible?
there?
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Arvind.
Thank you.
Oh, DTM, Arvind.
Oh, no, that's okay.
How are you feeling about this meeting? Tell me
Very
more about.
nice. Good meeting, I should say. I joined a little late, but having listened to Sandhya, I understand that the meeting started on time and things we don't explain, but you state the mission of the club. So that's a better language or a better word that we could use. We don't explain the mission. We just state the mission. The other thing is when somebody is sharing the screen with their report, only ask that it be highlighted. The other things which are not very important can be just left off because you're eating into time which could be utilized for something else.
Right.
I think those are the two things that I found. And yes, Rahul, the grammarian has already been told, but it's best not to give a concise thing, but rather, don't name the person, but let's come out with a good usage of the language, the incorrect usage, if any, and the pronunciation errors if were there. And like Sandhya already said, first start with telling us who used the word of the day, because that's where you need to. And well, I'd like to be not pragmatic, or I should say, because this is something that I hear some of the newer clubs, not newer clubs, but some of the people say, if somebody has said it more than 5 times, then don't say that you use, just say 5 times. But I'm of the opinion that we are all here to improve. And if you don't tell me that I'm using a particular filler or a phrase so many times, which is really going to go overboard, you have to make me conscious by giving me the number. Only then will it stick to me that, yes, this is such a huge number and I would like to see it going down the next time I come to speak. And in the past, there have been people who have done a graph at every meeting to see how they have progressed. So if you say over 5, the timer or the role player is shutting himself off once he crosses 5. Where is the listening skills coming in? And somebody who says it so many times was used, we know, like Sandhya said, that he has been listening, and that's where the skills come in. Those are a few of the things that I just noticed, which you could have, you may like to consider. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Marvin. We as a team would definitely imply all the suggestions you have made, and we are looking forward that you will join our next meeting. Anyone else? Am I missing out? Yes, Evaluate Krishna.
Karthik was giving a warning. Sorry, Karthik, I put you on the spotlight without giving you a warning.
I think Evaluate Krishna. Toastmaster Krishna.
Feedback? I think too much of anything is too bad. You've got enough feedback from too many people. Let's implement that, and then I'll give more feedback.
Okay, sure. With this, I would like to announce the results. Best auxiliary role player. Any guesses? Okay, no guesses. I would state it directly. It's Toastmaster Shobhayan. Congratulations, Toastmaster Shobhayan.
Thank you, everyone.
Next, we'll go forward. Who the best table topic? Any guesses? Should I directly reveal it? It was though very interesting. It's none other than Shyam. Shyam, could you please?
He's not in the meeting anymore.
Okay. The next, the last but not the least, best primary role player. It goes to Toastmaster Niyamat. Congratulations, Toastmaster Niyamat. Is she there? Or she also left?
Her video's turned off, unfortunately.
I'm here. My video would take a second. Thank you so much. Happy.
Thank you. Thank you for having such a wonderful table topic round. With this, I would like to end our meeting.